Hey guys, welcome back. It's Talsy. Today I wanted to talk about what is truth when it comes to your reality, and this ties in with law of assumption. So for those of you that are getting into conscious manifesting, this is a very important topic to cover off, because I do see in my community a lot of people saying this is ultimate fact, this is ultimate truth, like when they're dealing with circumstances or conditions, which is obviously a big thing. We all know that circumstances and conditions don't matter, but a key component to you actually being able to flip your reality really fast is what some people overlook, and that is that everything ultimately to the universe, your subconscious mind, your divine intelligence is only a truth based on what you accept as true. That is the law of assumption essentially, and that everything on the outside is your truth, okay, or whatever you accept as true. So everything kind of is like a half truth in a way. You're the one that decides what's real. I mean, even in circumstances where certain things are being mirrored back to you, you are still, whether you're conscious or unconscious, always filtering in a certain type of a way and deciding, yep, this is fact, or it's being shown to you in a certain type of a way because you have some kind of a way of perceiving things. I also want to talk about the power of now. And when I said to you that you absolutely can shift your reality very quickly through shifting your assumption, which by the way would be even, we would liken to changing a thought, shifting your perspective, and I'll link up a video that I did about shifting perspectives. But ultimately, your awareness is what is key, right? So becoming aware of what you're thinking and what you're assuming. Even in the case of when certain things are popping up in your reality, or a person says or does something, or they don't say or do something that you would prefer, it's important to understand that from some level of awareness or some kind of a state that you're in, totally shiftable, you're having a mirror reflect back to you something that you are assuming is fact, okay? Now, every fact, every perception, every label that you're giving a situation, a person, your current reality, something that you're perceiving, is in fact not an ultimate truth. Truth really only exists relative to the state of consciousness that you're in, and we do and can shift this all the time. In fact, we also unconsciously shift this all the time, guys. So in the case of some of you where you're like, why are they like this? And then they're like that. What a lot of you don't understand is, like, when you believe that someone is like talking to you and then you shift into they're ignoring you, it's actually just you moving between states of consciousness, and the outside being, it's like a mirror. You are perceiving things in a certain type of a way and accepting this is true right now. So the wanting you and talking to you is true, and then the ignoring you is also subjectively true. It's like you're filtering things in a certain type of a way through whatever version of you you're being. And guys, this isn't like, you know, who are you being now versus tomorrow or next week. This can shift moment by moment by moment, okay? So it's all about how are you focusing on said subject or desire, or how do you see yourself in relation to, say, a person or an area of life or a subject or a desire. And unknowingly, a lot of people do shift this all the time, particularly when you have not dealt with, say, certain insecurities, or maybe the fear of losing someone or something, or you have a pattern in your life. Like maybe love doesn't work out, so the person you felt that was giving you tons of attention, suddenly you have an assumption they're ignoring you. Or sometimes actually, guys, you can go down the rabbit hole with your thoughts and dwell in a state, and things are said and done or appear a certain type of a way. A person might even say that they don't want to talk to you. But it's very shiftable moment by moment by moment, because actually, without you realizing it, you shifted into a state, and it's just something that's been mirrored back to you in a moment. It's a projection. So the consistency in your identity of being the person who is rock solid in being aware of what you're thinking and how you're perceiving, and sticking to what you prefer is going to be the most sustainable way of not going in and out and shifting in and out of looking at the outside and thinking, okay, why is the person that loved me now ignoring me, for example? So we want to get your assumptions pretty rock solid. So the version of you that has a natural assumption that you always get what you want, that you're a master at manifesting, that people in your reality bend to you. It's not an arrogant thing to say, guys. I mean, it's going to happen either way. Everyone is mirroring you. They're mirroring versions of you. So getting in the habit of doing that, like your core assumptions being, I'm God of my reality, everyone within my reality is actually a mirror reflection, and they're showing up according to a certain level of focus, thoughts, and beliefs that I have about self, and therefore also what I am pushing out. That is going to help you. And also just to catch yourself if you feel like you're slipping, and also not to beat yourself up if you do slip in some instances and see something unpreferable. Know that the now moment is the now moment. We can shift that quickly and easily. So I always get chosen versus people pull away. That should be a core identity that you have, a belief. My person adores me. Love is easy for me. Okay, no matter what has shown up or been projected a moment ago, and you will see how quickly it flips. It's like you're projecting onto the screen of space. Your 3D is, and I've spoken about this on other videos, it's only reflecting you. It's only reflecting your thoughts, your assumptions, who you believe yourself to be, and you are the awareness behind that. So even your ability to stop and observe how you think and observe how you're perceiving a situation or a person, your ability to do that is awareness, it's consciousness, okay? So the person that you identify with most consistently, your dominant identity, say in relation to an area of life or a person, is going to be what you're more dominantly experiencing with them. So you can shift in and out, as I've said, I've given you examples. But if you want to get out of this like hot and cold behavior, or if you want the consistent results, you need to get dominantly in the identity that knows that you are the one selecting, and also dominantly focusing in a certain way with your thoughts aligned as you would like the outer to reflect, right? So when you shift internally, you're not changing a person. You're actually just shifting your focus and allowing the outside to just reflect back the focus that you're holding, okay? So I know that this can sound for some people that are unfamiliar with how this works a little bit kind of weird and wacky, but that's only because you're in the habit of believing that someone outside of you is acting independently of how you're focusing and who you believe yourself to be, moment by moment by moment. So let's talk about the illusion of time and why everything is now. And this is a contentious topic. Even in my community, guys, a lot of you say, well, if I decide it's done, why is something not here, or why is it taking time? So time is kind of also the biggest, half truth or illusion of all, right? We all know that creation is finished. That's a very commonly used term when we talk about consciousness, and Neville Goddard and all the teachers and the power of now. So every version of you already exists within consciousness. We also know about infinite timelines, parallel world theory, all of that stuff. Now, I do say theory because while science hasn't necessarily accepted this as a fact or a truth, again, guys, whatever you assume to be true, you will notice that if you can actually test it out or believe or buy into whatever you decide is true. For example, I'm in control of my reality. If I shift my focus, I get a different result. You'll notice very fast changes in your reality, okay? So this isn't necessarily a science-based fact unless you say so, right? So there are infinite versions of you, and even a person that you're dealing with or people in your reality existing on infinite timelines, and everything is your experience through your awareness of being and how you're focusing, okay? So nothing has ever been created or destroyed. Everything already exists, okay? Law of conservation, energy cannot be created or destroyed. So when you're looking at your reality through a particular lens, a state of consciousness, you're still in the now. When you're bringing memory of a past perception or something that was said even a moment ago between you and a person, you're also bringing it into the now. When you're in imagination and you're selecting an experience with a person that you would prefer, you're also in the now, okay? And that is consciousness at work, everything existing simultaneously. And then you're going to filter and also have the mirror reflecting because you have already shifted in the now. And that is, you will get the fastest results when you just release a little bit this whole idea of linear timeline and that things are only existing in accordance with time, logic, circumstances, and conditions, and clinging too much on what was even perceived a moment ago. It's like you are shifting all the time. Your identity is shifting, your state is shifting with your thoughts. So, you know, choosing a new thought or a new perception, again, check out the video that I mentioned earlier, and also shifting what you assume is possible for you, okay? This is the mistake that a lot of people make, and I see it a lot, like, well, so-and-so said something, this is truth. Now, even if you were going to be a skeptic, guys, you're looking at it through a particular lens, and we do see this a lot with people that we're dealing with. Like, you could have a friend that's telling you a story about some situation that they have with a person, and you're interpreting that in a completely different way than they are, right? But in terms of your personal reality, guys, you're the one that is spotlighting, you know, the version of reality that is active in the moment, like your personal experience through whatever infinite you could have. And so the rest of it is still there. It's just not perceived by you because your awareness is not on it. You're not thinking in alignment with it, or you're not in that particular state, which doesn't mean that it's not accessible, okay? So shifting your perspective means you're instantaneously manifesting something different. And whether your room, so even if you change a thought, you might feel like nothing appears to have changed, but everything has changed. So a change in your thoughts and your assumptions is an immediate shift in consciousness, but the mistake that people make is the belief that nothing has changed. And then they persist in only focusing in the same way, or reacting in the same way, or assuming because they cannot perceive a change that nothing has changed. So it has changed. And this is like it's like you've literally shifted onto a timeline, and you will see the trajectory, right? Or even in real time, you will see people flip for you very quickly. So everything is a truth according to what you say is true, basically. Whatever you believe, and every state of being, every state of consciousness, which is just you're the only one in your reality that gets to make the decision about what you assume, what you believe is true, and what you think about yourself in a certain situation or person. So that is going to dictate the experience moment by moment that you have, okay? So if you're dealing with situations that are not in perfect alignment with what you want, I'm not telling you just to take it. You don't need to accept it, but you also can say, well, that's not my truth because that is not in alignment with the version of me that I'm selecting. Everything is my mirror. So this is not an ultimate truth. You can detach from it and be a little bit less thrown around or emotionally reactive. You can say that's not the final version, rewrite it, okay? It's a reflection of some past assumption, lead up of thought, or one identity that I'm deciding I don't want to embody, and I'm the awareness behind all the identities that I can embody. So being aware and saying, okay, no, that is not who I am, and that's not a version of the situation that I would prefer. So then you reselect it. And that is why, guys, I'm always talking about that in my readings, reselect, okay? Decide again. Remember the ultimate I am consciousness, okay? I am the source. I'm the source of everything. So you literally are. I mean, you're only validating for yourself what is true moment by moment, and the outside is following you. So you get to decide and validate, no, that's not true, this is true, okay? So it works both ways. Reinforce through your identity and not through the 3D's momentary appearance, okay? You don't let the mirror tell you who you are, right? That is the key component. So this is not about being really angry or reacting to the mirror, though it can be a bit frustrating, okay? But you go into consciousness and you tell yourself who you are, and you tell the mirror basically what to reflect within your thoughts, within what you believe to be true, your assumptions and your identity. You shifted into that state. So what do you do when the 3D is showing you, say, like the opposite of what you want? I mean, I've covered this off in other videos. You just simply change the story, guys. You change the story of who you are, and you therefore also change what you think and assume about whatever you have been focusing on, if you would like to have it differently, okay? Because you need to understand that you're the one choosing what is true. This is why it's very subjective, guys. When you assume someone is ignoring you, they're ignoring you. When you assume someone wants you, they want you, okay? Tell yourself, if you feel like you're getting a little bit shaky, do what I said, return to your decision that, okay, this is who I am. I know my end. I'm in my end, right? States of being, all states are available for occupancy, as Neville would say. So I've shifted now. I'm in the reality right now where I know exactly what I get because I'm the one that has decided it. It's not delusion, it's awareness, okay? So choosing the fulfilled version of you, because you are fully fulfilled, guys. You have everything through you, but choosing to embody the version of you that fulfills that desire through your knowingness that it is you that's choosing it will allow the 3D to reflect really quickly. You are on that timeline. It all exists in the now. It's just that shift in consciousness, and then not stressing and worrying or looking around. It's for a reinforcement, okay? You're just embodying that knowingness. You're validating it. This is true. This is who I am. This is the reality. I'm on that timeline. This is being delivered to me, okay? The outside's already rearranging for me, okay? So not after I see a shift, then I can accept my power. You are the power, the version of you who has what you want. It exists right now, so you have everything, okay? It's the same as you accepting as true that you don't have it. Literally, it's just a reflection, guys, of where you are persistently focusing and what you are aware of behind the character or persona that you're in right now, behind the identity or state that you're in this moment. Moment by moment, you're shifting, and then you're the awareness behind it. And knowing that and understanding and seeing it from that higher vantage point is going to give you that ultimate ability to shift and stick to your decision and have the outside just like flip for you faster than what you would imagine. It's going to reflect your dominant focus, state, thoughts, and assumptions. So everything is ultimately like a half-truth, guys. It's all within you. What do you accept as true? How do you see yourself? How do you see, in the case of you wanting a specific person, how do you perceive them? What do you think and assume they think and assume about you? You don't have to wait, force, or fix anything. You don't have to settle for what you don't want either, because you have everything. So decide what you want and stick to your decision. Okay? You don't have to accept any version that isn't aligned, version of reality, version of a person, version of the 3D that isn't aligned with the identity that you're selecting. But if you shift in a moment, you're going to see that the outside's going to shift with you. And I would say, like, having a clean slate and understanding your infinite possibility rather than reacting and then sticking to what you see that you don't prefer and feeling like that can't change, this is the way to go about it. So ask yourself, who am I being? What am I aware of? When things pop up and you feel yourself like questioning, say, okay, why am I giving this awareness? Why am I giving this power? And then shift in that moment and get in the habit of doing that from that understanding that you actually have the power through awareness to experience whatever you want. The outside is just going to materialize according to that. It's like you're spotlighting something different. The outside will move with you, okay? You get to decide what's real and what's true. Why would you assume someone hates you versus someone loves you? Why would you assume you can't have what you want versus you have it already? Why would you assume that you're stuck in a situation that will never change, that is unpreferable, when you can assume differently, guys? And your subconscious and your divine intelligence and your ultimate power as the God of your reality, I mean, it's not discriminating. It just wants to respond to who you're being and give you exactly who you're being and how you're focusing and what you accept as true. So accept as true what you would prefer, and don't get thrown around too much by anything else. That's all you need to do, is focus inwardly. And a lot of you would have already started doing this and seen massive changes, so you can let me know in the comments if you have. And I do go through this in my course Shifted, where I really help you guys to sustain your most preferred state, understand your I am consciousness, your God power, also shift in real time situations with specific people, how this applies in the case of specific people, but this does apply in all areas of life. Guys, you are infinite. You shift timelines even when things appear to have not yet solidified, or even if your reality seems to look exactly the same as it did a perceived moment ago, you've already shifted with a new thought and a new belief system. You've already shifted states through the I am now in the reality where I have what I want. And the only reason why things seem to lag or take a long time is, one, the focus on it, and two, you not accepting that decision that you made, I'm now in this reality, or sticking to your train of thought and focusing in a way where the spotlight is on that experience, and you must inevitably then, this is why we have synchronicity, guys, and this is why things start to pop up. But you should persist, guys, because don't settle for signs and just a bit of synchronicity. Stick to your decision, continue with your thoughts, and in alignment with having exactly what you want, how you want it. And it is a guarantee, guys. You cannot fucking fail. You cannot fail. So believe in yourself, believe in your own truth. Don't let the outside decide for you what's true, because even then you think that that's what's happening, but actually you're deciding it's true. It's always your decision. So test it out, guys. And for anyone that has not joined Shifted, I'd love to see you over there. We're doing a special Black Friday sale. It's also including a bonus module now, circumstances don't matter, and how to get you to not react to your 3D and to take back your power and dictate what shows up next. I'd love to see you guys over there. The key is fuck the 3D, stop looking outside, just go within, understand that you can shift all the time, moment by moment. You don't need to put too much focus into what you don't prefer. You get to decide what you prefer is real, it's happening, it's a guarantee. You're the validation, you're the source, you're the only one that gets to decide what is true, and it is, everything exists in the now. Okay, guys? I love you so much, and I will check in with you soon.